Next question from Pia of Rappler.
Sir, si President Duterte was observed chewing gum while he was signing documents with with President Xi Jinping in China, and also there were reports that some Japanese officials were paranoid that he would chew gum in front of the emperor, and he has very informal ways. So as a senator on foreign relations and as a possible secretary on foreign affairs, what do you think of this kind of behavior of the president, and will you be advising him to follow protocol next time?
Okay. First of all, no other president has been under the microscope as President Duterte. Did you notice when President Duterte was talking about Hitler, the whole world made a comment. But when President Aquino called China Hitler, when they were in the opposite side in the war, he was not under a microscope. Okay. I chew gum. But I don't chew gum when I'm in Singapore. Not because of diplomatic relations, but because bawal din at pag tinapon mo, patay ka eh. Talagang malaking fine or kulong, no? So, the Japanese and Chinese have so much similarities but also have so much difference. Sa China, hindi bawal yon at hindi yon discourteous. Sa Japan, it is. So, halimbawa po sa atin, when you put your hands in your pocket here, it could be a sign of humility. It could be a sign of obedience, di ba? Nandyan ang presidente, nandyan ang teacher, so lahat kayo or kaya nakaganon, ganyan, di ba? Okay. So, that's why we have a professional DFA and a protocol assigned to Malacanang. They are briefed. That's why, it's not, we're in a democracy, so anyone can warn the president, anyone can put on Facebook, sana hindi ganyan. But trust in your fellow Filipino workers. The DFA and the protocol, Ambassador Painor is doing a great job. And all of this is briefed. The president could go to sleep early or can go out before the next meeting. But he spends 3 to 4 hours with all of us, listening to all kinds of briefings, starting with the DFA from any other concern from the legislature through Speaker Alvarez, myself as a Senate, DND, DTI, etc. No? So, all of this are professionally handled. Question, what is protocol nowadays? I don't know if you saw sa Facebook a few days ago, President George Bush was taking a picture with, tapos hindi niya makuha. So, kinalabit niya a month and a half ago, kinalabit niya si President Obama. Akala ni President Obama kasama siya sa picture, pero nakiusap si President Bush na si President Obama kumuha sa kanya. That wasn't protocol. But since they're both Americans and they're both, one's former president, one's president, okay lang. It's not all over the paper that Bush did not follow protocol and insulted the ganyan, no? So, to answer your question directly, of course, there are always concerns. That's why you have the protocol. But the opposite side of the coin is may konting kapraningan tayo as a nation that he will not follow protocol. But actually, he's very astute regarding that. No? And it's a different world. Eh. Yung halimbawa yung folding of the barong, all of this or the kind of pants he wears, all of this has been communicated to the host kung allergic siya sa isang klaseng fabric, kaya ganun yung gamit niya. Ang presidente natin pawisin. Pia, you yourself, di ba? Nalala mo nung campaign kayo ni sa CNN, di ba? Pinapahawakan pa yung t-shirt niya kung gaano kabasa eh. Di ba? So, when he folds his barong, it's because he'd rather look a little bit less formal than look sobrang pawis na pawis, and you're representing your nation eh, but you're human eh. Di ba? So that's the reality there. So when it's required that he wears a suit, he will wear a suit. When it's required that he doesn't chew gum, he will not chew gum.
Okay. Next question from Henry Uri of DZRH.
Magandang hapon po, Senator. Habang kayo po'y naghihilik daw at saka yung iba pang mga miyembro ng gabinete kagabi nung pagkagaling ninyo sa Japan, kinausap ng Diyos ang Pangulo at sinabing huwag na magmura, otherwise ibabagsak niyo yung eroplanong sinasakyan ninyo. Minsan ba ipinanalangin ninyo ang Pangulo na sana tumigil na sa pagmumura? Answered prayer ba ito sa part nyo?
Actually, Henry, hindi tayo nagkakausap matagal na, no, after the campaign. But for me, it's really answered prayer because I had the chance to pray with him and for him in Japan. Because he had a word with me and I asked him, can we pray? And we prayed about a couple of things, which we did a few times during the campaign, and I was surprised that he appreciated it. No, but the Lord works in mysterious way. I don't know if it had anything to do with it, but going home he was very tired, so I can't talk about sino humihilik. Maybe that's part of
That's my
national
second question, sir.
security or national insecurity. Biruan nga namin sa plane, may bilateral at may bilateral din kasi nagsasagutan din yung hilik eh. 'Di ba? Pero the president was really tired. He slept more on the way home than there. But every time he'd wake up, I behind him is Sec Bong dito sa kabilang side. I kept seeing him na gano'n nakaganon tapos nag-iisip. Usually kasi kakalabit kay Bong yon or kila Sec Andanar or whoever's there, kukuha ng briefing papers. So magpapahinga ng konti, tapos panay briefing papers, panay basa. Kung may tanong siya, tatawagin, tatayo kami dun sa hall or kung sino man gusto niya kawas. Kung private, palalabasin niya yung stewardess, uusap dun. But on the way back, walang ganon. It is the first trip I've been on in the last 4 or 5 trips. Alone lang, except yung kain niya. And then, nakaganon talaga in everything, no? But he also said another significant thing. He said yesterday, aside, the most significant really is that he said he felt it was a message from God. And I've always said to the protest of our religious leaders or some religious leaders that he's a deeply spiritual person. He's not religious, but he believes in God. He doesn't do the rituals or traditions of traditional religions, but he talks to our Lord and he prays, no? And the other thing I heard from him is a strategy. Gulpe de gulat is part of a Duterte strategy. But let me stop there because you can only talk of strategy. Halimbawa sa campaign, many of you asked about the campaign, about the false accusation sa kanya sa bank accounts. He only talked about it nung tapos na. Kasi may strategy siya. Kaya niya hindi nilabas kaagad para ipakita na wala talaga. But you cannot talk about strategy while it's ongoing. Ongoing pa yung strategy niya about the West Philippine Sea. Ongoing pa yung strategy niya for closer ties with all our neighbors, including China and Japan. So, those who are calling for hearings, those who are calling for clarifications, that's welcome. But I direct them to use the budget hearing rather because all that can be revealed there. But if they want to know the strategy, it has to be closed door. And it has to be people who agree with the strategy. Because many of the senators who are asking for a clarification actually believes in the Aquino strategy, which is shaming to death China and following US whatever they say. And that is, I'm not saying it's the wrong strategy. It might have been, I don't know, kasi yung strategy depende sa time yan, di ba? If you look at Japan, may time na magkagalit sila ni China. May time that yung national consensus was to build the relationship through economics. And then, nag-shift ulit. So ngayon, medyo hindi warm ang kanilang relationship. But their diplomats are trying. So you cannot expect us and the team, especially the DND, the National Security Advisor, to speak on the strategy, especially sa military, because you never tell your opponent. Isipin mo, si Manny Pacquiao, sasabihin niya, pare, una kong tira dyan, jab. And then after 7 jab ulit, uppercut. Di alam na nung kalaban kung anong gagawin mo. So if they want to know what is the policy, independent foreign policy, what it is based on, security, peace and order, food security, jobs, trade. One of the problems of our security is we have 10 million people abroad and it's causing dysfunctional families. One of our problems are drugs. So nakatali lahat yun sa foreign policy. No? But President Aquino saw the number one problem to be economics. So he based his policy on economics and then some other issues sa South China Sea. But President Duterte is saying, anin mo economics kung patay ka. Anin mo ang economics kung bangag ka. So he's not saying that economics is not important. In fact, di ba nagbigay siya ng computation eh. If you have 3 million addicts, 216 billion is being spent at least for isang hit-hit lang a day for the 3 million addicts. 216 billion which could have gone to buying goods, services, building roads, schools, buying food. No? This does not include what you're paying for rehab. Kinumpute ko yung sa rehab. If we follow world standards, we need 6 trillion pesos. That's 2 years budget to build rehab centers for 3 million. Where is the computation? If you follow the world standards, it's around 1 billion for 500 people that need rehab. Kung susundin mo yung world talaga, yung kung ano facilities doon, kung ano yung materials, how to keep them safe, especially sa phase 1. Yung phase 1 kasi detox, yun yung merong suicidal tendencies, yun yung merong nag-aaway, di ba, So the economics of what we're losing, the economic opportunity we're losing because of drugs is tremendous. So the foreign policy of the president is also based on our local needs. Yung sinasabi niyang hinaras siya, diplomatic passport, these are anecdotes to show kung paano tayo inaapi. To show na hindi equal yung relations. Di natin sinasabi, yan ang foreign policy natin, wag nyo tayong hanapan ng visa. Hindi. Foreign policy natin, security, food security, jobs, etc. Ngayon, our brothers and sisters in America, you can meet us halfway, you can treat us as equals, we might be smaller, you might be richer, but you can treat us as equals, pwede tayo magkaroon ng magandang relationship. Pero hindi, we have all of these neighbors who are hungry for friendship and brotherhood. Dito muna kami. Yan yung sober explanation of the foreign policy, no? Question, why can't we always explain it that way? Bakit i-report nyo ba kung parating ganito ka-calm ang pagkasabi? Ang US ba, President Obama ba, ang State Department kikilos ba pag ganito? Hindi. I'll give you a not a challenge, but give me a birthday wish. Research the aid given to us from the 80s to the present. No? Ang baba natin parate. It is their enemies that or where the countries they have problems with na pinakamalaki ang aid na binibigay nila. Pero tayo na napakalapit sa kanila at tayo na sumunod-sunod sa kanila, they give a trickle and then ang turing sa atin para bang patay gutom ka na, binigyan ka ng pagkain, sunod-sunod na lang. Yun ang inaangal ng Pangulo. There's no problem with American people. There's no problem with American businesses. They were assured here. Can I address just that one point then? No? Dami nagte-text sa akin, paano sir yung mga BPO call center? Ang gusto magpatanggal ng call center at BPO sa Pilipinas is not President Duterte. President Duterte is keeping their incentives. President Duterte is making the environment more conducive. People in BPOs, in call centers, are often victims of crimes dahil sila umuwi ng madaling araw. It is actually the American politicians, including President Obama, who wanted to remove call centers. Take a look at the debates and the speeches of President Obama in 2008 and 2012. He was saying the other nations are getting our jobs. Dapat ibalik na dito. Jobs that should belong to us are now overseas. Simple jobs of working at home and using the phone and internet are now overseas. Ang negosyante nila ang gusto dito. Bakit? Magkano na ba minimum wage sa US ngayon? It's between $10 to $15 an hour. No? So that's about $500 to $750 an hour. Which is what? Our daily wage already. So ikaw mamili, if you're gonna work 8 hours, do you pay 8 times more plus benefits and work in the US or ibigay mo sa Pilipinas? So yun ang pakiusap ko dun sa ating mga foreign relations, diplomatic affairs na experts, no? When there's a raucous and there's unsettling statements even coming from our president, let's not throw red herrings. Huwag natin lituin ang tao na para bang magsasara ang mga call centers kapag may problema sa relationship sa US, because it's purely a business deal. It's not a diplomatic deal. And they want to be here. They love being here. And we love them being here. And we're taking good care of them. We're giving them much more incentives than other countries are. And we're developing our English and foreign languages. That's one reason we went to K-12. No? So this is an example of issues that are spread out in social media and opinion pages. But actually, so the president has said that he's willing to meet any of the sectors that have concern. Just like the Jewish people, when iba yung dating, or the message was different from what reached them, he went to a synagogue and explained to them. No? So the cabinet is very diligent. Cabinet has time to bond, to be together, to talk with the president during these trips. And the president has made it clear to all the cabinet members that economics is a priority. And if there's any business sector that needs face time with him to clarify matters, he's willing to do it. Ang problema, ginagamit ng iba sa politika. That's why nagugulat kami sa China. Libo ang gusto sumama eh. DTI had a hard time telling people, pwede bang next time na lang o wag. Sa Japan, libo din ang gusto sumama. Sa conferences, naguunahan, they're all proposing new business. Tapos sasabihin, mababa ang business confidence. May disjoint. There are some business groups, di ba? And then some is not politica, but business interest. For example, some of those that are hit by the policy of the president. Sa ENDO, or making sure that the mines are safe, clean, making sure that oligarchs don't get everything, but then it's given to small and medium enterprises. These people won't sit back. Titira din yung mga yan, no?
Okay, last question from Grace Mariano.
Sir, statement nyo lang po sa sinabi ni Ambassador Goldberg na meron kayong secret travel sa China last June with Secretary Tugade.
I'm writing a letter to Secretary Yasay. I informed him yesterday to complain and to protest the actions of Ambassador Goldberg. Wag nyo nang sabihin ako, as I was introduced by Sec Abella, I'm a guest, I'm a resource person. I'm no one in the Duterte team. I'm someone that may have input now and then, who's also learning. But Sec Tugade is the alter ego of the president. So first of all, Sec Tugade, myself, we're not presidents. We do not have departure or arrival statements. So what does he mean, unpublicized trip? Tuwing umaalis ba ako, nagpre-press con ako? At kung mag-press con ako, pupunta ba kayo? Kasi kung pupunta kayo, tuwing aalis ako, edi magpre-press con na ako parati para publicize na lahat ng trip ko. But the reality is, it's only the president that all trips are publicized. Many of the trips are unpublicized. That's just the reality, no? But these are the 3 points I want to make about his allegations against Secretary Tugade. Number one, he's the alter ego of the president. What business does the U.S. ambassador or any ambassador have monitoring his trips or criticizing whether it's unpublicized or publicized? Number two, is the U.S. ambassador engaged in chismis and in rumor mongering and in false information? Because Secretary Tugade did not go. He had a lot of invitations. Any DOTR secretary is invited by many, many countries, including China and Japan, automatically. But Secretary Tugade, during that time, and we were often in Davao, I heard him a lot of times say, I will not go abroad until I form my team. And my priority is forming the DOTR team. That's why hindi siya sumama sa mga trips until matapos yung kanyang team, and may sarili siyang plano. Because Secretary Tugade doesn't want to be supply-driven. Ayaw niya, ang ganda ng trend, sige, mag-trend tayo. Gusto niya, pag-aralan muna, ano ba kailangan natin? Saka ko tatanggapin yung mga imbitasyon niyo dahil yan ang kailangan namin. Third, it was a surprise to us because they were so angry a few years ago and they put some people in jail, and they took away U.S. visas from a lot of Filipinos because we were spying on them. So is this an admission now that they're spying on us, on a cabinet member and a member of the Senate? Was there anything wrong, malicious, of me going to anywhere to China? I met with him. I did not publicize that I met with him. Did he talk about my talk with him? No. I met with other people in the embassy. I also met with other ambassadors. I've been in the House for I was in the House for 9 years. I've been in the Senate for what? It's the 7th year, 2007, 9th year. My sister was president of the Interparliamentary Union Women's Group for 2 years. She traveled and talked to many, many officials. So is there anything fishy, suspicious? Wala. But the way he threw it in the interview was like his parting shot. So at the right time, I will make a full report. If at all I'm doing something, whether it's in my initiative or I was directed to, remember, I'm a senator. I don't need the president to tell me to do something. If he does tell me to do something, I will follow. But as a senator, I can meet my counterparts. I can travel. There is such thing as interparliamentary relations. Hindi parating State Department to Foreign Affairs o Foreign Affairs to Foreign Affairs. Marami na ngayon party to party or parliament to parliament or Congress to parliament. No? So, let me just say this. No? One of the problems kasi is that the U.S. and Ambassador Goldberg refused to admit that he was a big part of the problem. That's why ganun magsalita eh. No? In my humble opinion, no? He made a mistake during the campaign in handling the candidates. He met all of the candidates and reported to the U.S. I suppose that is the procedure. I do not know for a fact. But he was not able to meet Mayor Duterte then because he kept on changing the schedule and making it hard for the meeting. So that was his mistake. Second, he interfered in the election. We know that there's a lot of pro-American, there's a lot of American influence. He made a comment on a highly politically charged issue. Can you imagine now if our ambassador in the US says something like, you know what? Etong emails, it might cause a national ganyan. Or you know what? Etong treatment nung isang candidate sa mga babae dapat ganito ganyan. And it affected the 3.5 million Filipino Americans there. It affected who they voted for. Don't you think they will expel that ambassador? But ang bait ng presidente natin, he met with him. He asked everyone to go out of the room. Nag-one-on-one sila. But did Ambassador Goldberg stop there? No. He continued to treat Malacanang as if you can tell the Philippine president what to do. So the Philippines have communicated to the U.S. Your messenger is also a problem. So until the time he left, mang-iintriga pa. But there's nothing to the intrigue. In fact, nagkamali pa. No? But I don't know his intent or his purpose in doing that. But I talked to a lot of people in foreign relations and they said it was at the very least a breach of protocol. But it was, sabi niya, you know, it's something terrible, something a diplomat, a professional diplomat will not do unless you're really trying to do something in that country, you know. But it's part of non-interference. He's interfering really with our local politics and with how things are run here.
Okay. Microphone, please.
Hi, sir. Just a follow-up, sir. On your China trip, on your trip to China last June, was it your initiative or the president's initiative?
Ako yun. The president doesn't tell people to go. And as I said, I'll report to the Senate and at the right time. But I went to the U.S. the year before. As all of you know, I aspired for higher office before. And for me to fully understand diplomatic relations, international relations, I went to the U.S. in 2015, June also. I went to think tanks, I talked to some officials, I met with some of connections we made throughout. As all of you know, my mom's American. So I know I have a handicap when it comes to other nations that are not in that good terms or have tedious relationships with the U.S. So I also made an initiative to try to get to know some of them. No? Especially when the president started saying that he wants me involved in foreign relations. But on the record, my wife is always with me. So bantay sarado naman ako in all of those trips. No? But there's nothing fishy, there's nothing suspicious about all of these trips. As a matter of courtesy, etc., of course, every time na aalis ka or may mamimit ka at may chance ka ikwento sa presidente naman, titignan ka lang eh. Sabihin lang sa'yo, what's good for the nation. Subukan nyo. Yeah, sir, I'm going to meet BBC or I'm going to meet CNN in New York. Ano tingin mo sabihin ko? Sabihin sa'yo. Tell them, whatever good for the Philippines. Kwento mo nangyayari dito. Hindi naman siya, I'm not in the executive branch eh. So, hindi to parang trip na bibigyan ako ng official orders at may protocol na susundin.
Okay. Thank you very much, Senator
Thank you.
Alan Peter Cayetano.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for having me today. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.